It's been a few weeks since you've seen and heard from me in terms of new episodes. I have to confess, I've been worn out. I've been worn out and suffering from a serious case of MAGA fatigue. And I think all of us on this side of the aisle relate to feeling run down and exhausted at the torrent of bullshit coming out from this regime. And that in and of itself is manageable, but when you layer on top of it the excessive levels of stupidity from the red hat potato brain crowd, it really leads to a spot where most of us need to recharge for a bit. And that's what I've been doing over the last several weeks, and I've had some other projects that I've been working on as well. But now it's time to get back in the saddle and continue firing away at the Taco Don regime and continue to shine the spotlight on the lunacy of this regime as well as the idiocy of their followers. And I want to speak directly to that point. The broader Democratic narrative, and I'm not a Democrat, I'm an independent. The broader Democratic narrative has always been to take the high road. I say screw that. I think it's time for us to take the gloves off, throw on some brass knuckles, and start swinging hard at the idiocy that infests the former Republican Party. And I say former Republican Party because this party is full out Nazis now. There is no hiding behind it. They've openly said over and over again that their goal is to exterminate and deport as many brown people as possible. And I say former Republican Party because this is no longer the Republican Party. This is the full-out modern-day version of the Nazis, and everyone that wears those stupid Chinese-made red hats and t-shirts, until they prove otherwise, are either full-out Nazis, Nazi sympathizers, or Nazi collaborators. Until they are leading the charge against this regime from the front wearing those stupid red hats, they are nothing other than collaborators at best. So with that being said, I think one of the things that we have to normalize is calling out things as we see it. The Democratic Party has spent way too much time saying that we should take the high road. I say screw that. We should be throwing haymakers whenever the opportunity arises, and we should not be sane-washing what we're seeing, nor should we be soft-pedaling the stupidity of the MAGA base. These are the dumbest voters in all of history. There has never been a dumber voting base than the MAGA Republican voter base. They barely know their history. They barely know how to speak one language. And judging by the comment sections and their lack of ability to grasp even basic language, it's clear that these people have really no useful purpose in society. And that explains why they follow who they follow. Think of how dumb you have to be as a voter base to think that this orange moron, Taco Don, is a genius. Think about that. Because Dookie Don is objectively the dumbest president to ever hold office. And it's not even a contest. And these people look at him as if he's a genius. That tells you how stupid they are. And it becomes critical for us to hold that mirror up, point, and laugh at their stupidity. These are people that need to be mocked and ridiculed, and they should not be treated as if they have a seat at the table. They need to be shunned, and they need to be exposed. And in fact, the way that we should be treating them is the same way that they treat people of color and black people when they see us walking down the street. When you see somebody wearing that stupid red hat or those stupid Trump shirts, hold your purses closer. Look around you and cross the street. If you're walking into a restaurant and you see these red hats sitting around, ask to be seated somewhere far away from them. And if there isn't anything available, wait. And if they are seated next to you, complain. These people today need to be treated the same way that lepers were treated in the 1600s. They need to be avoided at all costs, shunned, ridiculed, mocked, and exited from society at the earliest opportunity. The biggest danger to democracy aren't Republicans. The biggest danger to democracy aren't Democrats. The biggest danger to democracy is stupidity. And it's clear that there is an unlimited supply of stupidity existing within what used to be the Republican Party. So let's stop kidding ourselves and let's get real and forget about the high road It's time to get in the mud, and it's time to call things as we see it. No more playing Mr. Nice Guy or Nice Gal. It's time to punch back and make sure these people know that we are not going to take the high ground anymore.